Hello, my name is John Hillman. I'm course director for BA Photography at Birmingham City University. I've always worked in photography. I started out as a commercial photographer, and the kinds of work that I was really interested in shooting were large architectural spaces, industrial spaces, factories and laboratories, that kind of thing. I also did a lot of product and studio photography and also portraiture, but as I say, most of my work was commercially focused and orientated around different business sectors. More recently, in the last 10 years, I've worked as an academic and I've started to think about photography, write about photography, talk about photography, and I'm really fascinated by the changes that I've seen throughout my career to what photography is and what it now does. I think one of the things that the course is focused on is engaging with this changing nature of what photography is today. And I think we can all recognise that we take more pictures, we upload to Instagram, we upload to Facebook, we share images across the internet. And this change, this difference between photography as it was when I started, which was about making a series of prints and a very limited activity, has become now ubiquitous across all of our behaviours. That's something which I think we want our students to engage with. For me at the moment, there's kind of these two facets that I'm really interested in, which is the idea of technology and photography, so the idea of cameraless images that are made virtually, images that can be made only with a computer, without any camera, without any lens, that may be using computer code, for example, at one extreme, and perhaps using in-game photography would be another example of cameraless photography, virtual environments. And my other interest is really around theory, theoretical ideas that connect photography to the way that we live. And I think the most straightforward way of explaining that is that if we perceive reality as something that we interact with, how is that changed when we introduce images into that interaction? And presumably, my question is that presumably at some point when we look at lots and lots of images, our sense of what reality is becomes confused and maybe even mediated through those images, to the extent that the reality that sits behind it is increasingly more difficult to access. So those are kinds of the more complex questions that I ask myself in my work. I think the course itself will allow you 3 years to experiment, 3 years to develop, and 3 years to play with this idea and this notion of the changing space of what photography is. So I look forward to meeting all of you in due course and to discussing the possibilities of what photography can do for you and what we can do for you in understanding how your work can develop. Thank you.